Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by the Jeep Grand Cherokee. From Omaha, Nebraska and the Century Link Center, it's FS1 College Hoops with the number 10 team in the nation, the Creighton Bluejays, entertaining the Akron Zips. Hi, everybody. Steve Pizziak, Nick Baugh with you. Justin Patton is a redshirt freshman, and he might be the most efficient player in the nation right now, as he's made 21 of his last 22 shots. Are you kidding me?
Is that any good? Yeah, his combination of size and skill is truthfully special. He's got 19 ducks on the season, and you can see what he can bring to the table at 80% from the field. He does a good job of providing a different look in the pick and rolls with lobs to the basket, and here he is knocking down a three. The guy can score at all three levels. He's off to a fantastic start.
Today's starting lineups are also brought to you by the Jeep Grand Cherokee, Jamon Ivey, Josh Williams, Antino Jackson. One notable missing, Noah Robotin. He is their point guard, but out. So Ivey gets the start. Foster has been their leading scorer and outstanding for the Creighton Bluejays, averaging 18 points per game after transferring from Kansas State.
He's got great spurt ability, as Clark Kellogg would say. He can really score in flurries. But that guy right there, Justin Patton, Steve, is going to have his hands full going against Isaiah Johnson. 6'10". They list him at 290. I'd say he's closer to about 310, 315.
Hey, we're being fair. Come on.
We're being fair. But the bottom line is Johnson outweighs Patton by about 100 pounds. And Akron likes to get a post touch almost every single possession. It's going to be interesting to see how Creighton handles the big fella.
Patton at 7 feet tall. The Quan Cheatham at 6'10" wins the tap. And at the point, we told you, moving over from the 2 to the 1 is Antino Jackson, a 5'11" junior from Houston, Texas. And he will let it fly and miss the three-pointer. And Kyrie Thomas has been one of the great stories in the conference early this year. Rebound, and there is Marcus Foster with the three.
You see everything on display there. Great cross-court skip pass from Maurice Watson, but it was Patton's rim run that collapsed the defense and got Foster the open look.
This is Cheatham, who has been known to take three-pointers even at the size 6'10". Maurice Watson, one of the best point guards in the conference and the nation, goes in, throws it up, almost got it to fall. He'll wind up at the free throw line for 2 shots.
With the pace that Creighton plays at is just breakneck speed. I mean, they are flying down the floor. You've already seen 2 transition situations where Maurice Watson has got his foot on the gas. Good little 2-foot jump stop, shot fake, and now he's at the free throw line.
Greg McDermott's team is number 10 in the nation. It's only the 3rd time in school history they've been ranked in the top 10, but I really believe just the way they play, it will be a mismatch for Akron.
It'll be interesting, I mean, because Johnson is a guy that they want to play through, but at his size, this game could be going a little fast for him. So it's going to be a battle of wills in terms of who can set the pace of this game. Akron wants a slower grinder, and Creighton wants a track.
Creighton has the early lead in this one. This is Jamon Ivey, who is starting in the place of no other point guard. And Ivey averaging close to 8 points per game. Another miss, a rebound. Huff. They go left side. Watson, he looks for an opening, and it's to Patton, but off the top of his hand and out of bounds.
Pretty good looking block from Justin Patton here, coming off the weak side to get the stuff. And you saw the turnover from Maurice Watson. Steve, I think Justin Patton is so good at finishing lobs that these guards almost get lazy at times with their decision making and thinking they can just throw it up anywhere near the rim. There's a turnover.
Justin out of Omaha North. They have a real local flavor here on this Creighton basketball team. He swings it to the left, and Williams with the 3, and Akron has their first points. And this is a team that loves that outside jumper. Thomas, long, Cheatham rebounding.
I love the way Akron executes. They know exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to play inside out. They're trying to feed the ball inside, collapse the defense. Then they got 4 shooters toeing the arc.
Here comes Marcus Foster. Bounce pass ahead to Watson, kicks it out to Thomas. Foster. 4-3, and that one under the iron.
Johnson has a great feel for where Foster's at on the floor at all times. As he was patrolling the middle of the lane, he knew where he wanted to get to the ball, or get the ball to, and Foster knocks it down, his second triple of the night.
He made 138 three-pointers at Kansas State, then transferred, and he had to sit out last year, but worked hard and really has put himself in great shape. Thomas on the drive, kicks it off and throws it away. A nice steal by Williams.
It'll be important for Akron to always sprint back in transition and make sure that they're making life difficult for Creighton in the open floor.
Akron has great awareness on where each teammate is. This is a fine program. They've won 20 or more games and a MAC record 11 straight years under Keith Damrock.
That's a really good program. Won the MAC regular season title last year.
Huff misses the three.
Just still a little out of rhythm, a little out of sync. Cole Huff coming off microfracture surgery, trying to get in shape and get his timing back at the same time in season where Creighton's trying to limit his practice minutes. That's a tough combination there.
Both teams shooting well outside, but 9 of the 10 combined points or shots by the teams have been three-point attempts. Shot clock down to 3. Johnson loses it. Watson, middle of the floor, right side Foster. Has a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play.
See how fast Creighton will turn defense into offense, and Foster's got a great little hop-step Euro step look where it's either 2-foot jump stop and another good shot fake from a Creighton guard to draw the foul and get to the free throw line. Good look and start for Marcus Foster.
And even though he's 6'3", 210, he is he's a guy who can play that 3 spot.
Yeah, he's the guy that Creighton will post up a little bit. I mean, he's got great strength at the wing.
Could we see that, Nick, because trying to draw the big man away from the basket?
Yes, I think you draw Patton on the perimeter. It's going to bring Johnson away. And you look at the Akron guards, they're undersized. I think Foster could see a few post-up opportunities here tonight.
Johnson trying to post up. Patton, good defense right now. They'll try and double him. Josh Williams misses, and Patton has done a very nice defensive job on the 300-pound Isaiah Johnson. We've got a timeout on the floor. Creighton with the early edge on the Akron Zips. A great memory for Marcus Foster before the game. Greg McDermott giving him a special basketball representing his 1,000th point. He went over that mark against Buffalo on Tuesday.
Just a really special college basketball player that has been just that, plug and play. Has gotten off to a roaring start. You see the numbers there, 18 points a game, shooting better than 50% from the floor. And it helps when you got a guy, Maurice Watson, who's a pass first point guard, who knows exactly where Mr. Foster's at all times, and he's off to a blazing hot start here tonight.
2 for 2 from three-point range and came in shooting 47% from beyond the arc.
See, this is hard when you're having Cheatham throw the ball into the post because they're wanting to come with Hegner's man for the post double, and that makes things hard. So here comes Hegner, and Cheatham can shoot it.
Good defense by Hegner, forces the turnover. This is Foster, he'll throw it down.
Great rotation from Kyrie Thomas to get the steal, and of course Foster shot out of a cannon. That's textbook double team in the post and rotations.
Yeah, I was talking to assistant coach DeVries today, and he said Hegner is one of the smartest low post defenders on the team and really doubled quite well that time. This time they do work it inside, and Johnson is fouled, and that's something that Damrock wanted to do.
Creighton is a team that usually is a team that's built with IQ and smarts, and maybe isn't the most athletic team in the world, but this Creighton team's totally different. I mean, Marcus Foster, Justin Patton, big-time athletes.
And Foster, a big part of this run, as Creighton on an 8-0 run, and he has scored all 8 of those points. And here is Isaiah Johnson, the big man out of Cincinnati Walnut Hills. He's averaging close to 16 points per game, a 59% foul shooter.
Akron's a team that's a little bit of a unique style to go against, because anymore teams are so perimeter oriented. When you play a team that wants to throw the ball inside, it's kind of unique. And Isaiah Johnson's really good in the post. He leads them in assists, so he's usually a good decision maker as well.
Watson, good move there, and fade doesn't go. Pretty move, but unable to even grab iron. And there is Keith Dambrot in his 13th year, 392 wins in his career. Now 284 of those have come at Akron. What a great job he's done.
Oh, absolutely. And I think he's found a way to differentiate his program. He's a guy that his best players have traditionally been post players, and that's sometimes where mid-majors kind of lack. And so whether it's Zeke Marshall or Romeo Travis and now Isaiah Johnson, he's had good bigs, and that's really separated his program.
11 straight 20-win seasons. And this time, Quan Cheatham goes deep.
I like Cheatham. I think he's a guy that jumps off the film to me. Good size, good skill set.
Kyrie Thomas, who's been so strong this year in his sophomore season, averaging close to 15 points per game. New into the contest is Tavian Dunn-Martin, freshman from Huntington, West Virginia, the high school player of the year in that state. Foster on the drive, whips it up and in. What a great start for Marcus Foster.
Just electric in transition. When he's got a head of steam, he's a load, and you either got to foul him or he's going to get an easy two.
He's got 13 now, and the steal by Kyrie Thomas. Also in the game, Martin Krompel. Thomas, a little long.
So far, Creighton's been really locked in and defending the post and doubling and rotating. Creighton's been active, and that's what you have to do when you're taking on a guy like Isaiah Johnson.
Good defense by Thomas on Antino Jackson. Now they rotate Watson on him. And this is Jackson on the pull-up. No. Johnson right there with the left hand.
That's just a big guy wedging in on the backside for an easy putback. But that's a good possession. One way to control tempo is to have long offensive possessions. That was beautiful from Akron.
Foster. That's his first miss of the day. He has actually outscored Akron 13-9 himself.
Good activity from Martin Krompel, who's getting some more minutes with the injured Zach Hansen, and that's the type of plays he's got to get excited about. Crashing the offensive glass, trying to do the tough things. He gave up an offensive rebound putback on the other end, but he's getting a possession back on this end.
Johnson, meantime, picked up his first personal foul. He'll go to the sideline, and Michael Hughes, a 6'9" freshman from Liberty, Missouri, checks into the game. Krompel has it. Also in the game, Tyler Clement.
Got Krompel on a moving screen.
That's his first. There's Tyler, who's been a very capable. We've seen several of his games where he has quality minutes and made big plays down the stretch, whether they're screens or passes or points.
He totally has earned Greg McDermott's trust. 7 of 8 from the floor in the season. Got more assists than turnovers. He's been dependable.
Krompel to Foster. Marcus wings it to Zierden. And this is Clement. He's a little long with his three-point attempt.
That is how Creighton plays. If you're a high school kid and you like to play fast and shoot threes, this is the ideal program for you to come play in.
Cheatham. No. Gets his own rebound, but then it's stripped from by Clement, but they call Tyler for a personal foul. His first. Time out on the floor. 11:43 to play in the first half. Congratulations to those young ladies They won the 2016 Big East Volleyball Championship. The Creighton Bluejays, and last night defeated number 5 national seed Kansas in 5 sets in the second round of the NCAA volleyball tournament. They'll play Michigan next weekend in the Sweet 16, and they put together a 22-game winning streak. And Nick, you're from the great state of Nebraska. Man, do they produce some great volleyball teams.
It's a volleyball state, you almost have to say. And Coach Booth here at Creighton's done a really good job. And you can't tell you how proud everybody is of that volleyball team.
Did you know that I was the first radio broadcaster to broadcast a volleyball game in the state of Nebraska? The St. Cecilia Hawkettes won the state championship back in, I'm not going to even say.
I was going to say, you better stop there.
1977.
Impressive.
You weren't even born yet.
No.
There's Cole Huff going deep. I think they're trying to limit his minutes, aren't they?
They're trying to, it's hard because they got to get him back in the rhythm and flow of things. But by the same token, his knee is so bad they don't want to run him into the ground. So it's kind of a rock and a hard place. But he's so important for what Creighton does offensively. He really changes their team when he's knocking down threes.
Now, they don't have Zach Hansen because of the injury, and he was so important to their bigs. But Greg McDermott also has that Cole Huff situation. Does that mean a guy like Ronnie Harrell becomes more important as the season goes on?
Absolutely. I mean, with Huff's knee, there's going to be nights where he just kind of doesn't have it. And Ronnie Harrell, although his minutes have been sporadic so far this year, he's going to have to be ready to rock when his number's called.
Watson turns it over. Middle of the floor, it's Josh Williams. Hughes finding Dunn Martin, missing the 3. Krompel, nice catch. That was a great save by Krompel. Foster fakes the 3, drives in, kicks it out to Huff. And it is off to the right side. Creighton still with a 7-point lead nearing the halfway mark of this first half.
But if I'm Keith Dambrot, I'm feeling okay about things from the standpoint of Akron is getting good shots from the perimeter. They're a team that's top 10 nationally in three-point percentage, and they want to shoot threes, and they're getting good, clean looks.
Cheatham, nice move down the left side.
You got to run him off the three-point line, but he's capable of putting it on the deck.
Meantime, Foster, left baseline, and a marvelous shot, and a chance for 3.
See, Foster's starting to realize that if he runs really hard, Maurice Watson's going to find him, and he's going to have opportunities to score early in the possession. So you can tell that he's starting to see the reward of sprinting every possession. And what a start for this guy. 15 points, 6 of 7 from the floor. You get the sense that he's in a great rhythm and could have a massive night tonight.
Well, when I read all of the preseason forecasts, they talked about him being one of the superior transfers in college basketball, and he is not disappointed here in Omaha, averaging over 18 per game, and is almost near that mark in the first 10 minutes of this one. He's swinging out deep, and there's a 3-point shot by Aaron Jackson.
See, just so much pressure put on you because of the interior presence of Johnson.
Patton, a 3-pointer. Last game that you did, he became the first 7-footer in Creighton history to hit a 3. Now he's hit them in back-to-back games.
But you see, he's a guy that's got 19 dunks on the season. Now he's got 2 threes. I mean, his skill set is really spectacular at 7 feet tall.
He's the Dirk Nowitzki of Creighton.
But he's got his hands full dealing with big Isaiah Johnson. I love how Akron doesn't outthink themselves as you're taking a look at Patton. You see how there was no one by him? That's all Maurice Watson pushing it and collapsing the defense. And him knocking down a 3. I love the baseline out of bounds plays here. They just throw it into Johnson and they let him back down.
Zierden with the rebound. This is Watson going left side to Kyrie Thomas. Patton out with 2 fouls, and Keith Dambrot thought that was one of the keys as Hegner misses from outside. Because you said when they were leading by 7, I think Dambrot's in a good situation. He's in a better situation now because Patton may not play the rest of the half with 2 personals.
Yeah, and obviously Patton's really a difficult guy to deal with from a running the floor standpoint. But you saw there with Hegner on the floor, Johnson's got to guard him. So Hegner's going to come out and set a bunch of ball screens. It's going to be difficult for Johnson to defend. But on this end, there's got to be a steady diet of trying to throw the ball inside. And then the shooters for Akron got to be towing the arc, getting ready to let it fly.
And Tino Jackson working that shot clock down and pulls up with the three. It's long. Hegner battling. It's won by Akron.
The ball's got to go inside. That's a bad shot from Jackson. That's where the ball's got to go. You're going to get good opportunities when the ball goes inside.
Creighton defense recognizing the situation every time it goes inside to Johnson. There's the double. Zierden trying to help out. Three, 2 on the shot clock. Jackson has to shoot and misses. And it's Huff with a strong rebound. Cole. Yes!
You see who the last guy down the floor was? It was Johnson for Akron, who went to the turf. And so Creighton had a 5-on-4 advantage. Get a deuce out of it.
And Creighton with their biggest lead of the game, and Jackson immediately cuts it back to 7 with a nifty layup. Bad pass by Cole. Hegner was not open and intercepted by the Zips. And Tino.
Jackson's a capable scorer off the bounce.
And how about that beautiful move down the lane? And Maurice Watson has a chance for 3.
He's just been relentless, pushing it, transition. He's usually finding other guys for baskets. He said, why don't I get one? Looking for 3 the hard way when we come back.
The Creighton Bluejays with a 28-21 lead over the Akron Zips, and Marcus Foster has more than half of his team's points.
He's off to a great start. Only missed 1 shot, and a lot of this is going to be in transition. That was the first triple to get the game started, and here he is in the broken floor. Nice little jump stop to get the and one, and then Marcus Foster can fly with the beautiful dunk. He's been great. And a lot of his damage has been done early in possessions. That's where the defense isn't set, and that's where you can be really deadly as a scorer.
And they're a fun team to play for, I would imagine, as a player. I mean, they are 6th in the nation in scoring at 92 points per game. They had 112 against a very good North Carolina State team.
I think they're a little bit kind of like the Golden State Warriors of the Big East Conference. I mean, they want to play fast. They'll be a little undersized when they play Hegner at the 5, and everybody can shoot.
They may take some shots that have you scratch your head.
Yes, they may say, are you kidding me with that shot selection? But it's pretty tough to defend when they're going in.
Out of bounds, last touch by the Bluejays.
So it'll be Zips basketball.
It's going to be difficult for Hegner here, Steve, having to deal with Isaiah Johnson, and the Blue Jays have to be rotating and scrambling out of these double teams when they're coming.
Getting a little help from Kyrie Thomas right now. Jackson trying to move around his man, then with the pull-up, got it right at the buzzer.
That's 2 different late clock jump shots from Jackson.
Well, he had that great game last year in the surprising win over Arkansas when Antino scored 23 against the Razorbacks.
And Coach Dambrot at shoot-around talked about making Creighton guard, playing late in the possession. Well, oftentimes when you're late in the possession, you're going to have a guy that can create his own shot. And Jackson's the one guy on the floor for Akron that can do that. So when Creighton's trying to, or excuse me, when Akron's trying to control tempo, look for Jackson late in possessions to get creative.
Jackson now with 11 points on 3 of 7 shooting from the floor. Watson commits the personal. That is his first.
I get the sense watching Akron play that Jackson gives them a little bit of energy. When he's playing well, it really energizes the rest of the team.
Quan Cheatham. They call Quan for the travel.
So on this end, look for Hagner to be involved in some ball screens to drag Johnson away from the basket, to move him around the perimeter, really wear into his legs.
And you saw Keith Dambrot working the official who made the call on Quan Cheatham. This is where they're posting up Foster, and he'll fade and score. Well, he hadn't done much wrong.
How do you guard that?
I don't know.
We talk about Justin Patton be the Dirk Nowitzki of Creighton. That was kind of Dirk-esque right there with the little 1-foot leaner.
Ronnie Harrell in the game now. He is the 6'7" sophomore out of Denver, Colorado. Jackson, nice move, does not finish. And the ball on the floor, and they're calling a personal foul, and it will go against Toby Hagner.
Take a look at Foster. This is a post-up situation, and instead of going to the basket, just leans back and hits a jump shot. Yeah, that's a tough call. Greg McDermott doesn't like it.
What did they call? I mean, at first it was the foul on Hagner, and Greg was debating it, but they were all going for the rebound underneath the basket.
They got Maurice Watson.
They got Maurice Watson on the foul, and that is his second personal. And he will come out, and Tyler Clement will come back in. So this is a really big time for Akron to get right back in it, with Patton and Watson each with 2 fouls on the sideline.
Well, that is huge, because that guy right there, Foster may be the guy filling it up. Patton may be the guy that has got the most exciting skill set, but make no mistake about it, Maurice Watson is the MVP of this team. So we'll see if Clement can come in and keep the pace going fast at what Maurice Watson does best.
You wonder if that offense is going to go through Marcus Foster.
Has to.
And he's thinking the same thing, and now they're doubling him when they can. Foster, he's got a much bigger player on him and Aaron Jackson, 4 inches. Foster has it stripped, goes out of bounds with the save, 3 in the shot clock. And he was out of bounds when he made the save along the sideline, so he will go Akron's way. The last 3 games, Creighton has not played well in the first half. They played great in the second half, but quite frankly, I think Greg is pleased with the team has played. He's in a foul difficulty, which has haunted him this first half.
Yeah, that was. We asked him what he wanted to see tonight. He said he wanted to see a better start to the game. And
3 does not go, and Cheatham gets wrapped up, and a foul will be called on Ronnie Harrell. And now the crowd getting a little hot at the officials. Harry Prager, Chaza, Greg Evans, officials tonight, and Greg can't believe it.
I actually think it's the right call. I think Harrell was draped around Cheatham, and it was one of those plays where Harrell knew he was beat for the right rebound. So all you can do sometimes is just try and fall.
But Greg's doing a good job of working the referees and also working the crowd.
Working 16,000 people all at once.
You got that right. Akron really tightening up their defense now. Kyrie Thomas, yes!
You got the floor so spread, and everybody pushed down on the three-point line. And Kyrie Thomas is the one guy that can just put his head down and go all the way to the rim.
Josh Williams. Oh, and this time it's going to go against Johnson. He shoved Krompel, who tried to follow him defensively. And there's a foul on Johnson, his second, as we see Kyrie Thomas give Creighton the 8-point lead. Creighton has been able to maintain the 8-point lead over Akron despite Patton and Watson each on the sideline with a pair of fouls.
Marcus Foster once again is having a monster half, which is sustaining the Blue Jays right now. And the foul situation is interesting. I'd say 4 of the 5 most important players in this game are saddled with 2 personal fouls. Johnson and Jackson on the Akron side of things got 2, and as you alluded to, Patton and Watson with 2 personal fouls. But that guy right there, Marcus Foster, he's got 17 points and 0 fouls, so he's going to have to really have a strong final 3 minutes and 21 seconds. It feels like an important end to this half here for both teams.
Akron, their last basket was at the 6:19 mark, a drought of nearly 3 minutes. So they're really going to have to tighten things up defensively. Isaiah Zierden has it knocked free, and it's stolen by Akron. Dunn Martin down the floor.
A little bit different now with Johnson off the floor. Akron's built just slightly different, but they got shooters towing the arc.
Dunn Martin with the shot clock down to 7. He'll pull up and fire. Missed the 3. Kroppel rebounds.
So now Zierden's at the point with Clement out, with Watson with 2 personal fouls.
Foster misses the 3. Dunn Martin, he's only 5'8", 155, but very quick. Quan Cheatham. Williams with a hook that misses, and Kroppel taps it to Thomas. Foster.
Job by Kroppel to run the floor hard and crash the offensive glass. He's gotten now drawn a foul twice on just crashing the offensive glass, stealing another possession.
The Blue Jays are in the bonus.
Akron's last basket, nearly 4 minutes and counting, as Kroppel moves to the free throw line to try and give his team a 10-point lead.
But you can just sense when Maurice Watson's off the floor, Creighton loses a little bit of their pop offensively.
Yeah.
Not quite as dynamic in transition. And in the half court, you don't have a guy coming off these ball screens that's really creative.
Kroppel makes 1 of 2. Creighton by 9. The last time Akron scored a basket was at the 6:19 mark, and we're inside of 2 minutes to go. They get it low, and they finally do score, and it is Emmanuel Olajuwon.
Great execution. Watched Akron walk through that play about 5 or 6 times this morning in shoot around. That's a great pocket pass from Dunn Martin.
Coming up at halftime, it's brought to you by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Mike Hill and Jim Jackson will preview December's big games on FS1 and Fox, and we'll look ahead to Tuesday's Pearl Harbor Invitational. Isaiah Zierden. Toby Hegner's going to come back in along with Cole Huff and Morrell and Kroppel will sit down.
Zierden's a guy that led Creighton in minutes last year in the games he played, and now he's coming off the bench. And in limited minutes, I think he's lost a little bit of his rhythm offensively. And so maybe knocking down 2 free throws will kind of get him going a little bit, see the ball go through the hoop.
Ooh, wow. And Dunn Martin drove right into the face of Isaiah Zierden. No foul called. Cheatham. Dunn Martin misses the 3 over the 6'10" Toby Hegner. Zierden fakes the 3. Huff. Corner Foster. And Marcus is going to get fouled. Tavian Dunn Martin picks up his 2nd personal foul, and Foster immediately knew that he had a 5'8" guy on him and made that drive, and the best that Tavian could do was foul him. So an 81% foul shooter is at the free throw line.
It's pretty good company there for Patton and Foster. Sandwich in the middle is the greatest Blue Jay of all time in Doug McDermott.
Inside of a minute to play.
So I like playing through Cheatham right now with Johnson off the floor and Jackson with 2 fouls.
Nice pass inside to Japoki.
Pass from Cheatham, curling off the screen, drawn 2.
Zierden with the pull-up. Got it. And the lead back to 9 with 17 seconds left. And Dunn-Martin very likely will slow up for the final shot of the half. He's defended by Isaiah Zierden. Dunn-Martin, clever move to the basket, scores, and that's our first half. Creighton has their hands full with an Akron team who came in 6-1 on a 6-game win streak. So we'll come back with halftime with Mike Hill and Jim Jackson in Los Angeles. After this, Marcus Foster with a terrific first half. The number 10 team in the nation, the Creighton Bluejays, with a 37-30 lead over the Akron Zips. Today's first half stats are brought to you by the Jeep Grand Cherokee. Well, Creighton, one of the best shooting teams in the nation. They came in at 54%. Second in the nation, they were 52% in that first half.
And you look at Akron, you know, half of their field goal attempts have been from beyond the arc, and that's kind of how they're built. And Creighton's done a good job of taking away their big presence inside. Isaiah Johnson leads Akron in scoring and assists, and in that first half, he only had 3 points and had 0 assists and 4 turnovers. So if you're Creighton, you got to stay locked in on what the defensive game plan, and that was taking away Johnson.
Foster was brilliant with 17 points. As a matter of fact, he scored 13 of his team's first 16. Krompel, surprising 6 rebounds, and Watson with 7 assists despite missing the last 6 minutes of the first half because of foul trouble. And Cheatham leads the Zips with 8 points, and in rebounding, and Ivy, who got the start over the injured Noah Robotham, leading the team in assists. Maurice Watson back in the game. He and Justin Patton playing with 2 fouls each. For Akron, Johnson, Jackson, and Dunn-Martin have 2 fouls each. Creighton in the white and blue. Drive by Kyrie Thomas is denied by good defense for Akron.
I think if you're Keith Ambrose, you got to be thrilled about where you're at. One of your veteran guards out with an ankle injury, and you've hung in there against the top 10 team.
And they're determined to get Johnson started, but there's good defense by Patton. And then he's trying to spin back in, and a travel called on Isaiah Johnson, his 5th turnover.
A great job. Patton just making him work. Huff right there on the catch.
Yep.
Right call, shuffled his feet. And certainly Patton has got to stand his ground, but understand that he's got 2 personal fouls, and he's pretty valuable to this group. He can't pick up that 3rd foul.
Let's see if they try and get Patton involved. Instead, it is Foster outside with the miss. He had that brilliant beginning, making 6 of his first 7 shots.
Second
personal foul on Josh Williams, so that's 4 Zips with 2 fouls each.
Creighton does a good job of finding Foster in base and out of bounds situations. Love to really attack with him. And
he does, and tries to kick it off to Patton, goes out of bounds. And there's Justin Patton, who took 1 shot in the first half, made it. He's made 22 of his last 23. And a steal. Ivy with the layup. And that's a 5-point game.
Listen, Akron won 26 games last year in the regular season. They won their MAC regular season conference championship. I mean, this is a good basketball program. If anybody thought that Akron was going to come in here and compete, I think they're not watching the right team.
Marcus Foster missing the 3. Patton high for the rebound, spins back in, jump hook. No, so he's missed a shot.
That's going to hurt his percentage, shooting 80% from the floor.
Akron returned 3 top scorers from last year's 26-win team. Johnson backs his way in.
Good active hands out of the scramble.
And with 2 seconds left in the shot clock, he had to take it. And a good hustle by Josh Williams to get the long rebound. There's a steal by Watson. Maurice gets it back, but stolen back by Akron. And Watson gets it. And here's Cole Huff for the slam.
Now the statistician's going to have a workout with that one. A lot of turnovers and steals on that possession. But bottom line is Kyrie Thomas ends up finding Cole Huff for the easy dunk. So I think good things happen when you post, kick it out, and repost Johnson, because the double team will come and then go away.
And there is a 3 that's good. Jermon Ivey, who did not score in that first half, finally has his first 2. How about this alley-oop to Marcus Foster from Maurice Watson? His 8th assist. That got the crowd alive here at CenturyLink Center. How about Patton? Oh, man. He was reading that from the weak side.
Timed it up perfect. And speaking of timing, how about Watson to Foster? They have a great chemistry in the open floor. And boy, can Foster fly. And you called it, Steve. You could just see Patton timing it up, coming off the weak side with the block.
Johnson drives in. Nifty move, bad finish. Controlled by the Blue Jays. Watson looking for Marcus Foster. Takes it in himself. Misses the shot. Patton has it knocked away by Johnson. Williams for 3.
He's got to be careful about taking quick shots against Creighton, but you also got to be aggressive. Good shot from Williams.
And that's a pretty drive by Marcus Foster, who now has 21 points. Foster with his 15th career 20-plus scoring game and the 3rd this year. Williams with the miss. Huff, the trailer. Long. Patton wins the rebound. Huff. He hits.
And I like it. See, Toby Hegner was set to check in for Cole Huff. Huff knocks down a 3. Greg McDermott brings Huff back. You see Huff, he loves that little jab to get the defense rocked back and knocking down a 3.
Akron's last 2 baskets have been 3s. Will they settle for that shot or go inside to the big man Johnson? He sets the screen but does not go low. Now he does. Shot clock down to 3. And draining the 3 is Quan Cheatham. It's a 5-point game again.
He's the perfect complement to play alongside Johnson because he's got size, but he's more perimeter oriented.
Huff. Well, that's a good sign for Greg McDermott.
He changes the team and he's knocking down shots. You see the difference in the pick and pop action and Huff drilling.
Double on Johnson. Cheatham's open. And I believe Johnson went over the back of Justin Patton. If he gets called for the foul, and he does, that's his 3rd foul of the game. Cole Huff getting hot in the second half for the Jays. the Creighton Bluejays, one of 3 teams in the Big East Conference in the top 10. One will fall out likely, and that is Xavier after losing at Baylor 76-61. But Villanova is going to move to #1 because Kentucky lost to UCLA, and Villanova smashed St. Joe's. Way to go, Jay Wright.
And for me, Villanova is always my #1 team right now. I mean, to me, they're the reigning national champs. They return a good chunk of their roster, and you saw Josh Hart with his first career triple-double. And so Nova, to me, rightfully returns to the throne of college basketball right now at #1.
And one thing we should talk about, Butler, they stay unbeaten. They're 7-0, and Providence with a great comeback against Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, a top 25 team. That's a good win for Ed Cooley's crew. Pretty exciting start to this second half. Both teams scoring it at a high clip. This game, obviously right now the tempo is getting to where it's favoring Creighton.
Alley-oop, and that's a great finish by Martin, and a foul on Cheatham. So Justin Patton, it's been tough to get him the ball inside. What has Akron done to deny Justin?
Well, they've done a good job. Well, first of all, he's been in foul trouble, so they've done a good job of keeping him on the bench. But that's fantastic. Middle of the floor, pick and roll. See how high Huff and Foster are, so no one's on the baseline around the basket. So an easy lob for Patton to go get.
Patton cannot finish that three-point play. Creighton, though, with their biggest lead of the game now at 10. Akron had carved it down to 5 here in the second half.
Just a totally different team with Johnson on the floor. Much more perimeter-oriented, or Johnson off the floor. Guys like Jackson and Cheatham got to be aggressive late in the clock here.
Down to 3, down to 2. They get the shot off just in time. Cheatham with the miss, and Foster with the rebound. Wings it left side. Watson. 4-3.
Boy, how about returning the favor? Watson's been finding Foster in transition, and Foster finds Watson. I love how Watson took his time, got his balance, got his feet set to knock down that 3.
Jackson loses it, struggles with it. Patton, alley-oop, Foster, and Marcus throws it down.
What an outlet pass from Justin Patton. He bends down, gets the loose ball, comes up, and throws a strike.
That was a little like Kevin Love. He's got one of the best outlet passes in the NBA, and Justin grabbed it, kept it high over his head.
Transition basketball. Push, find the 3, and Foster another dunk in transition.
Creighton with their biggest lead of the night, 56-41. This weekend, we pay tribute to the events at Pearl Harbor 75 years ago and honor those who selflessly serve our country. Fox Sports is proud to support emerging vets and players and its mission of ensuring our nation's warriors can be as productive off the field as they are on it by joining combat veterans with elite athletes to form a common bond over dedication and teamwork. Visit foxsportssupports.com to learn more. It is a great classic. And here's Akron as Creighton went off on a 10-0 run after Akron had pulled within 46-41. Jackson short with the 3. Swung. Rebound by Emmanuel Olajupoki. Good pass inside. Marcus Foster to Justin Patton.
Steve, Creighton's just lethal in the open floor and early in possessions. I mean, just shot out of a cannon and right away into an empty side pick and roll. Just so tough to deal with because your defense isn't set.
And this has kind of been their mojo. I mean, the last 3 games in the first half, they had outscored the opposition by only 1 point. In the second half, they had outscored the opposition by 59 points, and they're again doing it against a fine Akron Zips team. They've made their last 6 shots. And there's a shot clock violation. And Greg McDermott, he slapped his hands together in delight. And Keith Dambrot not happy at all with the way things are going in Omaha, Nebraska. Creighton by 17 over Akron. And this week, start your Sunday with Fox NFL Kickoff and America's #1 pregame show. Then Todd Gurley and the Rams battle Tom Brady and the Patriots. And in America's Game of the Week, Odell Beckham Jr. and the Giants clash with Big Ben and the Steelers or other regional action. Coverage begins Sunday at 11 Eastern on Fox. We are in Omaha, Nebraska. And Creighton at 7-0, one of 3 teams left in the Big East unbeaten. Villanova and Butler the others. And here's Patton inside. And now all of a sudden they are going to Justin Patton.
And a lot of it is off of pick and rolls to the basket. That's his MO for offense right now, is not necessarily back to the basket scoring. It's getting advantage off of rolling to the hoop.
Creighton has made their last 7 shots. And finally, Quan Cheatham goes deep. Cuts the Creighton lead back to 16. Watson. Well, they got hot.
And again, that's off of a made basket, pushing it and taking a shot in about 5 or 6 seconds for just a pull-up jumper. Creighton's just relentless.
Yeah, what have they outscored Akron on fast break points tonight?
21-5 in favor of the Blue Jays.
Patton rebound, outlet, Thomas. Well, he had it stripped, but that's what makes him special.
Hey, that's a 7-footer, sprinting the floor, catching it. But you see the look at Watson pushing it. Look at the shot clock. Not even 4 or 5 seconds into the possession, already getting a shot up, and that's off a made basket. That's special.
Foster misses the jumper. He still has had a terrific game with 23, game high. Cheatham tried to feed it to Johnson and lost it off of his hip, and it goes out of bounds. And Bambrot would not want that kind of style. He just wants substance. They're going to be one of the great teams this year in the Mid-American Conference. They're picked to win the East, and Eastern Michigan picked to win the West. Hegner in with Watson, Patton, Isaiah Zierden in. Marcus Foster is the other wing. Zierden misses the 3, and also in the game, Tavian Dunn-Martin.
I like that, though. Greg McDermott trying to drop a set to get Zierden a clean look at a 3, understanding that his offense and his comfortability is really important for Creighton moving forward.
Now he is chasing Josh Williams all over the floor. Shot clock down to 8. Cheatham from 3-point range.
You got to run him off the 3-point line. He's going to pick and pop and let it fly.
He now has 17 points. That's a team high for the Akron Zips, including 5 3-pointers.
Keep an eye on Foster. This is where they like to go to Foster.
I think he's only missed 1 shot.
Well, he's 6 of 7 from the floor. And that's just simple execution. Everybody runs with Hegner on a flare screen. He got the slip to Patton all the way to the rim. Good contest from Hegner off of a nifty set from Keith Dambrot. But you look at Maurice Watson knocking down a 3 in transition. Just done a good job of running the floor, and then Patton with the slip and the flush.
He has now made 26 of his last 28 shots.
Man, that's unbelievable.
It is. It's ridiculous.
Redshirt freshman coming in off to just an efficient start.
Not even Bill Walton did that against Memphis in that national championship game years ago. Bill actually should have had 50. They had a couple of dunks, which was not legal back then, taken away in that fantastic game he had.
But all Patton's doing is he's just simply setting picks, rolling to the basket. He's not doing anything spectacular in terms of having to make an incredible play. He's just rolling and finishing.
And then he takes a shot like that. What, doesn't he know that he's shooting 80% this year?
That's what you got to. That's the ultimate trump card to your coach. What are you doing shooting that? Have you seen my field goal percentage, coach?
Ain't that the truth? And here's a strong drive by Jamon Ivey. Clement.
Got a mismatch, missed him.
Yeah, and then Cheatham didn't mean to do it, but he tripped Hegner as he went by, and Toby already playing on an injured ankle. But Akron trying to get back in the game, currently trailed by 13. Greg McDermott's Creighton Bluejay team, he runs a really exciting offense, and I would imagine it's a joy to play for him.
So what's amazing about the efficiency at which Creighton plays is a lot of their offense comes in transition, so some of those plays aren't necessarily set. But the one thing that they have is an unselfish mantra that permeates throughout the team. Tonight, 19 assists on 26 made baskets, and they've done a good job, especially in the second half, finding Patton on some lobs. And you look at Creighton, second nationally in field goal percentage, trail only UCLA. UCLA knocked off Kentucky today, so that's pretty good company to be in. So Creighton's really efficient.
And that ended the Wildcats win streak at Rupp Arena at 42 straight.
I think that's the best win of the season, don't you?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. True road win for UCLA at Rupp. Pretty good.
That's pretty good, too. Beginning to deal. He's got 11 assists already, so this is another double-double for the senior from Philadelphia.
I love his mindset. He's always been a pass-first guy, but even almost seems like he's a pass-first, pass-second, pass-third guy right now. And it is really helping this offense.
Dunn Martin with a nice jump shot off the dribble to his right. Great feed by Patton. You know, you were talking about the assists. It was 19 at the time. That's number 20. Assists to me mean easy baskets.
Yes. Yeah, assists mean you're shooting. Oftentimes an assisted basket is a high percentage basket, a high percentage shot, I should say. And again, but this is off of a made basket. You push the ball down the floor, you post up, you cut, and you score. Under 10 seconds, you're just it's difficult because when your defense can't get set, the help often isn't in the right spots. And Creighton attacks early in possessions, and they're unselfish across the board.
And Creighton is the team in town.
Yeah.
I mean, they really own Omaha, and the style that they play, averaging 92 points per game. All of a sudden, being in the Big East Conference, Greg McDermott's really been able to recruit the athletes. He gets Marcus Foster as a transfer. Now he's bringing in Caleb Joseph from Syracuse, who will be eligible next year. And Mitchell Bellick and Tyshawn Alexander, two four-star recruits from the high school ranks. Well, it's a lot of fun style to play, like you were talking about.
Yeah, if you want to play fast and push it in transition, shoot a lot of threes, play in front of 16, 17,000 people, this is the program for you as Watson gets another one to go.
You know, you said in the first half when Watson had to sit the last 6 minutes, you go, they don't have the same pop when he's out of the game.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that with him back in.
You see just how much pressure he puts on the defense every single time he pushes it down the floor.
Jackson for three. They don't quit.
Now this is a good
13.
team. This is a good Akron team. With the way they're built, with the size, with Cheatham and Johnson and the shooters towing the arc, it's a difficult team that's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the MAC.
Hegner misses from outside.
Bluejay foul number 32, Toby Hegner.
You just look right there. Almost every team needs a guy that can really set the table for his teammates. And kind of a lost art, to be honest with you, a pass-first point guard. You don't see a lot of them anymore. Everybody wants to score, and Maurice Watson is unique in that way.
That Ball family is pretty good.
Oh, boy.
Did you hear the kid who, Ball's brother, in high school had 72 the other night? He's averaging almost 50 points a game.
That's ridiculous.
That's like you at Lincoln Southeast.
Yeah,
if your coach would have let you shoot more.
We'll blame it on that. That's why I never scored 72 in a game.
Justin Patton picks up his third personal foul, and it's Wise after picking up only 2 fouls and only playing 6 minutes of the first half. He plays 15 minutes before he picks up number 3 in the second half.
And Creighton's got to be careful here. I mean, Akron's just hanging around, down 11. And when you're a team that is top 10 nationally in three-point percentage like Akron is, you can erase a deficit in a hurry.
And then there's the turnover. So we're going Akron's way. 5 minutes to play.
I would get Cheatham and Johnson on the same side and have Cheatham be the one entering the ball into the post to put the defense in a tough spot on where they're coming with a double team.
Jackson's so quick.
Yeah, he is.
Trying to post up Johnson. Good defense by Patton. Patton did a great job defensively on Johnson without fouling because it was physical on that low block.
That was you got a good eye, Steve. That was the difference in that possession. It was Patton's ability to work and front and make the post entry not be available that ultimately ends in a turnover. That's all Patton.
And now a whistle and a foul called on Jamond Ivey. Akron able to stay in this game because what they do well, they're enjoying their 7th game this season with 10 plus 3-pointers. They're second in the Mid-American Conference at 3s per game, almost 11 per contest.
Marcus Foster, that's crafty right there. You just kind of wrap up the defender's arm as you're moving to make it look like you're tied up. It's a veteran move from Foster.
He now has 24, needs one more to tie his season high he had against Ole Miss in the championship game of the Paradise Jam. 25 for Marcus. Creighton back in front by 13.
He's been awesome tonight. And it's not as easy as he's making it look to come off a redshirt year where you haven't played in a meaningful game in over a year's time to just come in and be clicking like this.
Johnson backing his way in. Pulls it up and in.
Interesting. Don't come with a double team there. And when there's not a double team, Johnson scores at a really high rate. I think at this point, Greg McDermott probably feels like 2s won't beat him, 3s will. And so you don't want to step off anybody on the perimeter.
Tyree Thomas kicks it to a wide open Marcus Foster. Short with the 3 ball. Jackson defended by Watson. Timeout. Keith Dambrot. Akron has been able to close Creighton's lead to 11 points. We'll be right back. Here's your game summary. Quan Cheatham with a quality game for Akron. Antino Jackson limited to just 9, but 15 turnovers have really hurt Foster and Watson, as you were talking about at the break. To me, just terrific players.
As good of a backcourt as there is in the country. The 1-2 combination, the distribution from Watson, the scoring from Foster. And what's amazing is those two guys, don't you think they got a pretty good chemistry with one another, where they really were always on the opposite team last year in practice, so they haven't had a lot of time playing together, but they have really developed a good kinship on the floor.
Yeah, if I'm Watson, I'm always looking for number 0.
No doubt.
And if I'm Foster, I'm always expecting a pass from Maurice Watson. That's confidence in your teammate. Johnson backing his way in and spins on Patton and scores. And all of a sudden, we've got ourselves a 9-point game nearing the 3-minute mark.
Last 2 times, no double team has come, and Johnson scored both times.
Zips on a 9-2 run. Here's Huff hitting the 3, and he has hit some big baskets in this second half.
That's good for Godfather's Pizza.
That's a huge burst of confidence and offense. Huff now with 16 for the game.
He now has 999 in his career. Figured they'd go back to Johnson instead. It's Jackson for 3. And it's an 8-point game. Or a 9-point game, I beg your pardon.
So here's where Creighton likes to play fast, but, you know, milking some clock isn't the worst thing in the world here.
Huff bangs around, no good.
I'd still go inside. You got plenty of time. I'd go back to Johnson inside if no double team's going to come.
Patton's trying to front him.
Yeah, good call.
Oh, man.
And that Steve, that's on Jackson. Not waiting for the screen to come and put Cheatham in a bad spot. And Cheatham just barreled over Kyrie Thomas.
And all of a sudden, you saw Keith Dambrot asking for a foul here.
I wonder if they'll hack a Patton here. Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Is Patton's not a good free throw shooter.
Well, they got the foul, but it wasn't from on Patton. It was on a better foul shooter in Maurice Watson, who's a 70% foul shooter.
It sure looked like Cheatham was trying to foul Justin Patton away from the ball, and the ref just didn't call it.
Yeah, I really like watching Quan Cheatham play. Smart player. Isn't too greedy with his shots. I mean, he does everything within the system.
I think everybody on Akron's team is pretty selfless, and I think they all share the ball. They have patience. They understand what they're trying to do, and Cheatham is fantastic.
And that's from a guy who was a baseball coach at Akron, not a basketball player. He was a baseball player at Akron, but he said his first love was always basketball. He just didn't get. He got his mom's jeans, he said. Terrific guy, and obviously tremendous success. 11 straight 20-win seasons, 3 NCAA tournaments, and 9 postseasons in Keith's tenure.
I got to guard the three-point line here.
Johnson. It's Dunn-Martin for 3. They have 12 three-pointers in this game. They've taken 30 shots and made 12. And they have made their last 10. Akron has made 10 shots. Their last 10 shots, I beg your pardon.
So here's going to let Watson create off a high pick and roll with Patton.
Huff blocked. Cheatham.
Good closeout from Cheatham. Now 5 on the clock. Watch Foster looping around and coming through a little elevator screen for a jumper. So keep your eye on number 0 here. Here comes the loop. Here he comes.
And Marcus with an absolutely fantastic shot for a career-high 27. And I'm talking about his Creighton career. He had a fantastic game against Texas when he was with Kansas State, 34 points, but 27 tonight. Watson with the save to Huff. It might be the dagger that they needed. There goes Maurice to work, looping it up. Patton can't catch it. Huff gets it back. And a whistle and a timeout is called by Creighton.
30-second timeout for Creighton.
Well, you look at just the great execution. Foster's so crafty going to the basket. So Foster's going to loop around, come through the elevator screen, and that's going to create an out-of-control closeout. And Foster, that's just degree of difficulty at 9.9. The jump stop, the hang, the finger roll. 27 for Marcus Foster.
by the way, his teammate Maurice Watson, who's in conversation with Greg McDermott, just tied the arena record of 12 assists in a game here at this arena, set by Grant Gibbs in 2011 versus Northwestern. I think he's going to shatter that mark.
I agree. I'd be astonished if he doesn't eclipse that 12 assist mark at some point.
He had 17 in one game when he was at Boston.
So 12 on the clock. Or beware Foster. It look they like to throw a lob for Foster. Oh,
Kyrie Thomas, easy layup. 12-point lead for Creighton. 40 seconds to go. Well designed, well executed.
yeah, just caught Akron taking a nap.
Quick move, but lost the ball. Kyrie Thomas will slow it down.
It's a modern-day Bob Cousy with Maurice Watson. And he loses it right as I... Little blasphemy, I guess, pulling out the Cousy.
Thanks a lot,
there.
Nick. He is a Bob Cousy candidate this year. Jackson with the pull-up, rims out. And Marcus Foster has had a fantastic game with 27 points. Hauls down his 4th rebound. And Creighton will move to 8-0, one of 3 unbeatens in the Big East. Greg McDermott continues his impressive start to this year, and this is a team that can really light it up offensively.
It starts with the backcourt, Watson and Foster, as good as it gets. 27 for Foster and 13 assists from Maurice Watson.
That's all from Omaha, where tonight's final score was 82-70. Stay tuned for more college basketball Tuesday on FS1 with the Pearl Harbor Invitational. Coverage starts at 6:30 Eastern. Once again, tonight's final score, Creighton 82, Akron 70. For Nick Baugh, I'm Steve Physiak. So long from Omaha, Nebraska.